Problem 2, exercise 12.2 in your text, is a classic example of decision making based on accounting data. We're given this information for a company called Regal Cycle Company, and the first column, take a look down the first column, you'll see that that's the total for the company. And then each of the segments, the dirt bikes I'll do in pink, according to their calculations, the dirt bikes gives them a total of $17,000. The mountain bikes, which I'll do in green, says that we're doing about $24,000 in mountain bikes, and based on our calculations, we're told that our racing bikes are losing $9,000. That's a common way of presenting the data. The problem with that data presented that way is that line right there, the allocated common fixed expenses. Because allocated means assigned, it means made up, it means we're not sure about these, we're just kind of making them up. We're saying we have $60,000 worth of common fixed expenses, and we're going to allocate them to the dirt bike division, the mountain bike division, and the racing bike division. And when we do that, that racing bike division is losing $9,000. We think we should give up the racing bike division. That's a common misconception. You will hear it at least once a year or so in every boardroom of every business that has a division that's operating real close to the line. Let's take a minute and take a look at what happens if they give up their racing bike division. If their theory is correct, by giving up the racing bike division, their income should go up $9,000. If their information is correct. Let's see if it is. We know for a fact that if we give up the racing bike division, we're going to give up the contribution margin. Because if you don't sell the bikes, you can't get any money out of them. So we know that. Now let's take a look at the traceable fixed costs that can be avoided if we give up this division. Well, the advertising, that's traceable to this division, so we'll be giving that up. Okay, so we'll be saving $6,000 in the traceable advertising. We got that. And the depreciation of the special equipment, we're still going to keep that because they tell us the equipment's going to be there. Okay, the special equipment has no resale value, doesn't wear out. We'll use it for something else. We'll store it in the back room. We'll throw it away. It has no value, plus or minus, so we can ignore that. The salary of the product line manager. Well, if we're not making a product, we don't need the manager, so we'll be saving his or her salary of $10,000. And what else? The allocated expenses we said we're going to get away with. The total fixed expenses that we can attach or trace directly to them, it's $36,000. They're not going to go away. So we're going to be giving up $27,000. We're going to save $16,000. So when all's said and done, instead of making $9,000, we're going to lose $11,000. So there is a disadvantage of discontinuing and racing bikes. And the depreciation of the special equipment is a sunk cost, so it's not relevant. So it's not relevant to the decision. The common costs are allocated, and because they're allocated, they'll continue no matter what. Therefore, they are not relevant to the decision. So, when you allocate the common fixed cost, it looks like the racing bike division is losing $9,000. As you see, if you go through and actually give up that division, you actually lose $11,000. Because remember, this $9,000 that you're losing really isn't a loss. You're offsetting it against these two. If you have to do away with this division, this $9,000 gets transferred to these two divisions and their margins go down. So, not a good idea. So it says, should the bikes be discontinued? The answer to 2 is no. And then the last thing it asks us to do is to prepare a better formatted statement that would be more useful to management with regard to this particular decision. So I've taken the same statement, everything's exactly the same, but what I did is I got rid of the allocated costs and put them all here as common fixed cost. So, when we take up the cost, we look down and we see that their product line segment margin is $92,000, and you subtract, and that's for the total, and subtract the 60 from that to give you net operating income for all three divisions. So simply by allocating the common fixed costs, you put these guys in the hole. Didn't really help matters. Matter of fact, it hurt matters. Putting everybody together and taking out the common fixed expenses, which will stay no matter what, if those common fixed expenses, those entity sustaining expenses, we could eliminate probably all three lines, and as long as we kept the business open, we would probably still have those. So a better way, a more useful way, would be to give the segmented report, keeping the common fixed costs separate. And the moral of this story is, when in doubt, do not allocate.